Hey, it's Enloser. Today I have two stories for you about almost being kidnapped, and they're quite creepy and disturbing, but if you do enjoy creepy and eerie stories told face to face, this is a perfect place. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you subscribe and leave a like. Let's get in. In our first story, we have a pizza guy named Dave. Dave has been delivering pizzas all day long, and it was a very hot day that day, so he's been drinking quite a bit of water. He gets another call to an address that he delivered before. He grabs the big pizza and then starts driving to that road. Remember when I said he's been drinking a lot of water? He actually has to go to the bathroom really bad. But at the same time, the delivery is not very far away, so he says, let me just make this quick delivery, and when I get back I can go to the bathroom. He goes to this area, which is a little bit of a secluded area, and the house that he arrives to, he remembers having delivered before, but this time the house is completely dark. There's no lights at all, not on the windows, not even some sort of TV light that's being reflected on the windows. The house was in a university area, and it was July, summer break. So many of the houses would have been empty, but some of them would still be rented by some students or other people. He's sitting at his car, looking at this house. He wants to make sure that somebody's there or he's at the right address before he actually goes and knocks the door. At this point, it's around 9:30 p.m. and it's very dark outside. The sun is gone, but the heat is not. It's still super hot. And his car is very old. The AC is working, but not very effective. So he keeps opening the door to his car just so he can get some fresh air. He decides to call the number that the customer had provided. The phone rings for a few times before it's picked up by a woman. And the woman says, "Yeah?" And he says, "Hey, it's the pizza delivery guy. I brought your pizza, but it seems like you're not at the address." And the woman just says, almost out of breath, "Yeah, I'm not home." At this point, he's drank so much water, he just has to go pee immediately, and he doesn't really have any patience. And he tells the customer, "Well, then I'm gonna have to cancel your order because we did deliver in the right window, but you weren't at home, and you're not gonna get your pizza." When on the other side of the phone, the woman suddenly starts to speak clearer and says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I was speaking through my AirPods, which have been broken for a while. I was running back home from work. I'll be home very soon. Please do not leave. I'm really hungry and I need that pizza." In her voice, you can feel that she's very apologetic. So Dave instantly regrets having snapped at her. He knows what it's like to be hungry. So he tells her, "Yeah, don't worry. I'll wait." He starts looking around in the neighborhood where he could pee without really causing trouble or disturbing anyone. The houses are close to each other, except for that one house that he was going to deliver the pizza to. And lights are mostly on, so he doesn't really want to get caught. There isn't really any trees around, except for that one big bush in front of the house that he was gonna make the delivery to. He didn't really have his uniform on, so even if he went there to the bush and started peeing, if someone saw him, nobody was really gonna realize who he was or which pizza joint he was coming from. So he gets out of his car and starts walking towards this bush. This bush is very close to the house. He tries to really make sure that he doesn't splash at all on the house and only aims at the bush or to the ground. When he starts peeing though, the sound is not like when water would hit the grass or bushes. It's almost as though he's hitting something solid. And it couldn't really be the wall because he made sure to aim lower to the ground. He hears noises coming from the bush, so he's thinking maybe there was an animal inside the bush, maybe a dog, something is hidden there. He creeps out when suddenly, from within the bush, someone jumps out and says, "What the hell?" The guy just jumps out of the bush. He's trying to get rid of all of the things that was splashed on him, and he's disgusted. You can see in his face, he's trying to clear his face because apparently Dave had aimed right on his face. Dave is very scared. This is a very big, muscular guy, and he has a hoodie on, and he thinks to himself, this can't be good. A guy hiding behind the bush? It's an immediate red flag. So he's shocked in that moment, trying to think who this guy might have been or why he was hiding in that bush, when he hears tires screeching and a car swiftly leaving the area. He looks around, the guy is gone. It must have been him walking or running back to his car and then just driving off of there. And he's still shocked. He walks to the bush because he wants to see why a man would be hiding behind it, opens it up with his hands. He realizes that there is this kind of grassy area just behind the bush where the guy was hiding. He turns on his flashlight from his phone and starts pointing it to that area because it's quite dark. And then he sees a red backpack lying on the grass there. He doesn't really want to pick up the bag or move it in case the guy returns, so he walks towards it and then points his flashlight on it and opens it up because he wants to see why this guy was there. And he regrets opening up the bag because inside the bag there is what seems to be a very sharp knife, a roll of duct tape, and some pills. Dave just jumps out of there. He leaves the bag where it is and is super scared. He runs back to his car thinking that he was about to get abducted and that the girl that he was going to deliver pizza to was just bait. Once he's in his car, he slams the pedal down and drives away from that area as fast as he can. At that point, he's having difficulty breathing because of the fight or flight emotions that he's still having, the stress in his body. Once he feels safe, he pulls to the side of the road and tries to take a deep breath and understand what had just happened. You could almost hear him scream in his mind. Yo, what was that? What was that? What was that guy doing there? Were they gonna kill me? What was the girl doing? Why was she not around? Was she a trap? Was the guy gonna just jump me and then, I don't know, kidnap me? But then, why didn't he do it before? Why did he wait until I was at the bushes peeing? This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. Oh my god. They were gonna kill me. No, they were actually gonna kill me. Okay, I should call the police. No, wait. I should call the girl and warn her. Because if she arrives there and the guy's back, oh my god, maybe she's even kidnapped by now. What do I do? But if I was bait, I should call the police first. I have no idea what to do. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Okay, let me call the police first and then I can call the girl. If it's not too late. He rings up 911 and he tells everything that had happened to him. But because he's still freaking out a little bit, the words that he's saying, he's just rambling on. He's saying, I think they were after me, they might have been after the girl, I'm not sure. What do we do now? You must get there before the girl does. The guy might have come back. When the operator finally just tells him to stop talking and not worry about it, he's safe, and that they were gonna send a unit to the girl's house to check it out, and that she also was gonna be safe if she was in danger. While he's on the call with 911, he gets another call. He can see that the customer's number is calling. And he doesn't want to pick it up because he'd have to close the call with 911, and 911, the operator, tells him to stay on the line always. And then he gets a text from this girl saying, hey, I'm back, but I can't see you. He starts to think more rationally, realizing that the girl being a decoy doesn't quite make sense. He delivered there before, and he now is feeling guilt for having left her in such a risky situation. And he takes the 911 call on mute and starts driving back to her neighborhood. When the operator asks what his position and his situation was, he tells them that he went back to warn the girl. Now, the operator is not happy about that at all. They tell him to not go there, not talk to the girl, that they'd be sending a police car. Dave doesn't care about that. He just feels guilty. He stops down the road and he can still see the girl outside of her house. It's a little bit further away. So he starts flashing the light of his car, and the girl sees it and she's kind of looking at him, and Dave rolls down the window and he looks outside from the window and he just points her to come to the car. The girl starts running towards the car and out of breath, she's at the window and looking puzzled at Dave. Dave whispers to her, get in. And she's like, wait, you want me to get the pizza from inside the car? She doesn't quite get it. And then Dave tells her that he had seen this guy in her bushes, and he explains what he looked like with this hoodie on and that he had a red bag, and the girl instantly, her face just gets super cold, white as a blank paper, and gets into the car. She doesn't say a word at that point, and Dave continues to explain to her that he had called the police, that he was online with 911, he wasn't sure what was going on, but that he was afraid for her and for his own safety. Dave is shaking like crazy. It almost feels like he'd had 10 cups of coffee. He's still scared about it, and the girl just calmly says, "I know who he was. That's my ex." The operator asks, "Are you okay? Are you safe? Are you with the girl?" And he tells them that he had picked up the girl, that they were both safe, and the operator tells them to go to a spot where they would meet them away from the house because it might not have been safe. And police comes to the spot, and Dave tells them everything that he'd seen, what had happened. He gives a statement, and then the police talks to the girl. Apparently, this was an ex-boyfriend of hers who was very abusive. The girl that day was thankfully safe, and Dave doesn't really know what happened afterwards or the aftermath. A week later, she called the pizza joint and gave a very generous tip to Dave. Dave appreciated this, and the boss even thanked Dave and both the girl for the tip. Even though this close call was not really directed to him, he wasn't gonna be the one that was abducted, it still had affected him in a very traumatic way. No matter how many pizzas he would deliver after that event, he would always be freaking out about bushes or trees, if someone might be behind them or if someone might just jump out of one of them. This surely was a very close call. But I think the next story is gonna be even a closer call. Mindy was a 26-year-old woman. She was petite, wearing a tight at the time, and a pink top, just so you can paint a picture. She was walking down the street at a very late time from her friend's house. It was a very large city, but she was living in this very rough neighborhood. Not a super safe one, but she felt safe nevertheless. The reason why she felt safe is because she'd gotten used to the idea of dangerous situations. She'd gotten herself out of quite a few sketchy situations, so she felt almost invincible and that nothing really further scary could happen. And when she was walking down the street, especially those dark and late hours, she'd always be on high alert. She wouldn't listen to music or talk to anybody. She would always be looking around, checking her behind if someone was following her, and she was aware of her surroundings, so she wouldn't really worry about it. It was about halfway to her home, just 10 minutes away from her apartment. She notices a van tailing her. Whenever she would make a turn, she would realize that a van from behind her, even though very far away, would also turn and slowly, very slowly follow her. Initially, she wasn't worried because the area she was living in was known for prostitution and other types of criminal things. So she does the usual and she crosses the street to make sure that she's walking towards the traffic and not beside the traffic. This made her feel safer and would have been enough to tell the van that she wasn't really what they were thinking she was. But at this point, the van turned down the side street and literally just pulled up in front of her. She still wasn't quite scared though. She knows that this happened quite frequently. It didn't matter if she was showing any skin at all or if she was wearing a winter coat. Now the windows of the van were down, so she very seriously approached it and said, "I'm not interested," yelling at them. Inside the van, she realized there were like two twin brothers. They looked exactly alike, and they weren't really looking straight at her. They were just looking outside to the front. They didn't even acknowledge her when she said that she wasn't interested. Annoyed by this, she once again crosses the road to walk away from the van, and she thinks to herself this might have been enough. But once again, they circled the road and started tailing her. It didn't matter how many times she crossed the road, they would just constantly follow her. It was then when she started to actually feel unsafe. They drove by her along with the traffic, and she once again screamed at them to just stay away from her, that she wasn't interested. Once again, the van follows the traffic and then disappears in the traffic. So it's been 3 minutes or so that she hadn't seen the van, and she's thinking to herself, yeah, that was enough. They're finally gone. She pulls out her phone, ready to call her sister, when suddenly the van pulls in front of her, and before she can even blink, the guy jumps out of the van, pulls the back door open, and then just marches her in a very aggressive manner, ready to just grab her and throw her into the van. Now, the traffic in that area was very inconsistent, and suddenly it was completely dead. She thinks that they must have been waiting for this moment, for a perfect empty street to do this. Just as the man is about to grab her, she does something without even thinking. She tilts her phone to the man and says, "Say hi to my followers, you're on live stream right now, and your license plate has been taken." The man suddenly stops, freaking out, trying to cover his face, and then just runs back to the van. Without even closing the back door, he gets into the van, and they immediately drive off with tires screeching. She was so scared in that moment. All she was thinking of was, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I was gonna be kidnapped. They were gonna kidnap me. Oh my god. What do? Do I call the police? Oh, Jesus, I didn't even get the license plate. What was I thinking? Wait, are they still around? What if they're still around? Oh my god, I should pretend to be still filming myself. Okay, talk to the phone. Hello, everybody. I'm still here. Yes, thank you so much for being here. Why did I not get their license plate? What were they gonna do to me? Kidnap me? Kill me? Maybe even worse. I don't even want to think about it. Nope. That was it. That was the last time I'm leaving the house at this time. Never again. Let me just arrive home and maybe call the police. Tell them about this van. Oh, God. She'd never been the same after that night. Once the dark arrived, she never walked outside again, and even during the daylight, she'd be freaking out, constantly fearing that someone was approaching her. And this was the second story of a very close call of someone being abducted. What do you think of today's stories? I personally was freaked out by them, and the reason for this is because ever since I was a child, I was afraid of being kidnapped. No matter what I was reading online, it was always about some organ mafias or people who were being kidnapped, never being found again, and it was always creepy and scary stories. Now, there's quite a bit more about these stories, or similar stories, that I'll be bringing to you in the future. If you did experience something similar, make sure you send me an email, and I'll try to bring your story to life. If you have any suggestions about filming or storytelling, please continue posting them. I try to take them very seriously, and I try to work on my storytelling, always trying to bring you what I believe is creepy and eerie, interesting stories in a good manner, trying to fix my voice, being a little bit clearer too. I hope you enjoy them and you stick around. If you still haven't subscribed, consider subscribing and liking the video so that as a channel we can grow together with you, of course. Again, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of you. Enjoy the creepy ukulele song that's about to hit the radio. Stay safe and stay eerie. Tried to walk home last night, really thought I'd be fine, but then a sudden thump behind. Wait, is that an alien? What was that sound I heard? Jane, please stop fooling around. What do you mean wash the dishes? Do you realize what time it is? I'm getting the creeps again. Look at these goosebumps on my skin. If I'm not back by 8, the delivery guy probably did it. Now I must fade in the dark, get away from everyone. Oh Jane, I'm so afraid. I'm begging you to stay. Is someone watching me as I'm wide asleep? Getting those goosebumps again. Wait, am I peeing? I'm so scared that I'm peeing.